Today I have a really fun video that I'm super excited about. We're gonna be reading new release romance books all week. I've already read Funny Story, Just for the Summer, This Summer Will Be Different, Summer Romance, and A Novel Love Story. So those aren't gonna be in this video, but most of those books are included in my June reading wrap-up video if you wanna check that out. But there are still quite a few new summer romance releases that are still on my TBR, which is why I wanted to do this video. I thought it'd be fun to kind of up the ante and have the random wheel generator choose which books we end up reading for this video. The 6 books that are on the random wheel generator are The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, and I actually have the physical copy of this one. I thought it'd be fun to throw in a few on my physical TBR as well, so that hopefully we can make some progress on these. One Star Romance by Laura Henkin, Swan Song by Ellen Hildebrand, Summer Fridays by Suzanne Rindell. I actually haven't heard hardly anyone talking about this book, but it is another one on my physical TBR, so I had to throw it in there. And the last book on the random wheel is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. All right, now that we've gone through all of the options for today's video, let's spin the wheel and see what we get. The verdict is in from the random wheel and looks like we're reading Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I've read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, but I think that's the only other Ali Hazelwood book I've read. So it's been a while since I've read one of her books and I would be excited to get back into them. I've heard that this book is more steamy than some of her other books. I'm excited to start this one and to get another book off my physical TBR, so let's get started. Hey guys, I'm finally getting started with Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. It's 10:20. I'm about to go to sleep in like 30 minutes or an hour, but we'll see how far we can make it tonight, and then hopefully I can read a lot more tomorrow. I ended up editing a video after work from 5 to 10, so basically took the whole time after work. So now I'm finally winding down and I'm excited to read. I really don't know how far I'm gonna get in this. I'm enjoying it, but I have a solid core class at 7:45. I fear it may be bedtime soon. I got to about page 50 last night. I have a little bit of a lunch break now, so I'm gonna have a snack and do some reading for like 30 minutes and we'll see what progress I can make. I'm liking the book. I feel like the first 5 chapters have been a refreshing lesson on like entrepreneurship. I did the entrepreneurship certificate at UGA where we learned about like startups and funding, and basically Eli's business partners want to basically like acquire the company, the startup that Rue works for. So that's kind of how this starts, and it's not a spoiler because it's literally on the back of the book. But yeah, I feel like the first few chapters were like a case study that I used to do in school. So I'm definitely liking it. I think the writing is really good. It seems like only Rue is really first person, but the chapters do switch. It doesn't necessarily bother me, but I do prefer first person because I just feel like I'm able to connect with the characters better. I usually have a harder time giving a book written in third person 5 stars, if that makes sense, because I just really like the first person point of view. Okay, I'm really liking this, you guys. I am a sucker for like enemies to lovers, and they are like so mad at each other right now because Eli is trying to buy the company and Rue is pissed about it, and so they're butting heads, and I just love like the sass in the beginning when they're enemies. Like, there's just nothing better. I'm also finding it like a nice balance of banter without it being too cheesy. I have a feeling I'm gonna get annoyed with the main characters because I think they're both gonna start a physical relationship and it's gonna develop into an emotional one, and they're probably both gonna deny that they have like actual feelings for each other. And something about me that I just struggle to connect with characters on is like, frustrates me when people can't accept such great love because so many people are looking for that and can't find it, that then when it is available to a character and they struggle to accept it, I'm like, come on, like I can see so clearly how much they deserve that, but they can't see that. And maybe that makes a book really good that I'm feeling all those feelings, but I think sometimes I just get really frustrated when that drags on for too long. So those are a few predictions and thoughts based on the tropes that we're seeing. The writing is really fast-paced, which I'm enjoying as well. Hey guys, I just wrapped up with work for the day, so I wanted to give you an update on Not in Love. I actually turned on the audiobook on Spotify for like an hour while I was doing kind of some mindless admin work after lunch. I made it to page 159. I think I'm like 40 or so % through the book. I like our characters, but I will say turning on the audiobook made me like them less. When I was reading it before listening to it, I brought them to life in my head in a way that resonated for me, but then when I heard the audiobook narrators' voices, I just was like, this was not the vibe that I had like pictured, and so that just kind of threw me off and threw me for a little bit of a loop. I'm excited to go back to reading the physical book because honestly the audiobook was not really doing it for me. I was just having to focus on the content and not on the voices. So that was interesting. You know how some things, like when you read them in your head, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense as dialogue, but then when you hear someone like say it, you're like, oh, ew, I don't like that. This type of romance book is just probably better as a physical read. There are just some things that are said that I'm like, that needs to be left on the paper. We don't need to hear that out loud. But it's nice to do a bit of tandem reading and listen to an hour of the audiobook and then go back to the physical book. Since I have some free hours on Spotify, I figured why not. But a good reminder that romance on audiobook isn't always my favorite, but that's okay. I'm excited to sit here and chill after work for a few hours and see how much more of Not in Love I can knock out tonight. It is raining, thundering, lightning, so it's the perfect cozy reading weather. I feel like when I was in the early chapters of this book, I was worried that the characters were gonna be like in denial of their emotional connection, but I feel like they're very aware of it. So I'm liking that because it's not like droning on in denial. That part has not annoyed me like I expected it might. So that has also been a good development. Okay, back to the book. I'm really liking this book more than I expected to. I feel like I might need to prioritize some of her other books. I'll probably try to finish this one tonight. Honestly, there's just not that much left, and I really have a hard time going to bed when I only have like 50 pages of book left. Like I just feel like I get this momentum towards the end of books where I have to finish them. I ended up being able to read a little bit longer after work yesterday than I thought because Anders got home a little bit later than I anticipated, and I finished Not in Love last night. I was expecting this to be some like crazy erotica novel that just took some of the intimate scenes too far or had way too many of them, and granted there were several intimate spicy scenes. For some reason it didn't feel like too much to me. It didn't annoy me. This book is not like any smuttier than the Chestnut Spring series. If you've read those, I feel like those are honestly like just as spicy, if not more spicy than this one was. This one was like a little bit more like loving, if that makes sense. It had a big focus on like boundaries and communication, which I thought was a really good theme. I thought that the characters were really well developed, and I was also really interested in the story that was going on. The underlying dilemma of the company that Rue works for being bought out or acquired or whatever, but that whole dilemma and story was also super interesting to me. So I overall really enjoyed this book more than I thought. I think I'm gonna give it about a 4 stars. I was just kind of surprised by this one. If you've liked Ali Hazelwood's books and writing in the past, and you also enjoy a little bit of a spicier novel, I think you would really like this one. So I took Not in Love out of our wheel of names, and we will go ahead and spin again to see what our next read is. Ooh, okay, we got the rom-commers. All right, so we got the rom-commers by Catherine Sender. I'm super excited for this one. I've read one Catherine Sender book before, which was The Bodyguard. I read that one on Kindle Unlimited a few months ago, and I really liked it. So I'm excited to read some more from Catherine Sender. I don't have the physical copy of this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and download it on my Kindle, and we'll get started reading. Hey guys, so I downloaded the rom-commers onto my Kindle. I need to start work in like 10 minutes. I was gonna just go ahead and read like the first chapter before I start work because I'm so excited about it. But before I got started, I was like, wait, what is this book even about? So I was gonna quickly just look it up and read it to you guys so we can all be on the same page about like what we're getting into here. Okay, here's the book description. It says, Emma Wheeler desperately longs to be a screenwriter. She spent her life studying, obsessing over, and writing romantic comedies. Good ones. But she's also been the sole caretaker for her kind-hearted dad, who needs full-time care. Now, when she gets a chance to rewrite a script for famous screenwriter Charlie Yates, the Charlie Yates, it's a break too big to pass up. Emma's younger sister steps in for caretaking duties, and Emma moves to LA for 6 weeks and for the writing gig of a lifetime. But what is it they say? Don't meet your heroes? Charlie Yates doesn't want to write with anyone, much less a failed nobody screenwriter. Oh, and he thinks love is an emotional Ponzi scheme. But Emma's not going down without a fight. She will stand up for herself and for rom-coms and for love itself. Stop, I'm excited. And even just reading the book description, there was so much personality in the description. I could tell that this book is just hopefully gonna come to life in an awesome way. So I'm probably gonna read the first chapter and then start work. I do have a dentist appointment later today, so we'll see how much progress I can make today. Hi guys, it is a little bit after 5 now. I have changed into just this like matching set. I want it to be cozier. But yeah, it was a busy work day and I'm just decompressing. I've just been laying here rotting. I decided enough was enough, so I've sat up and filmed this clip, so it's gonna force me to start reading. I am really excited about this book. I'm just tired, so I don't really have anything else to do for the day other than finish my laundry. Also, I want to say I got a spray tan last week for the 4th of July and it is coming off. So if you've noticed my splotchy neck, mind your business. And if you didn't, ignore me. Forget I said anything. I'm realizing I need to up my step count for the day because I just got a notification for my Aura ring. I'm at 5,400 steps, so it's too hot to walk outside. I guess my options are lay here and rot more. That's the devil option. Or get up and walk on my walking pad and read my book. That is the angel option. So today has just been overstimulating. You just have to unlock the Kindle, you know? Like I just have to unlock the Kindle. We have to take that first step. Okay, we're making progress. I switched my laundry and I took my makeup off. I just like needed it off. I don't know why. It was just like bothering me, but I also wanted to walk and I wanted it off if I was gonna walk too, so that if I got a little bit sweaty, I didn't feel like extra gross. So that's the plan. I'm gonna try to get into this book. To update the vlog because we have a cameo from Jack Stapleton, who is one of the main characters in The Bodyguard. I think it's fun when authors give like a nod to their other books. I'm proud to say I hit my 10,000 steps, so I will now be rotting in bed and reading. I'm so proud of myself for getting my steps in. I'm relishing the cozy reading vibes now. It's like I earned them, you know? Can y'all tell I'm a Virgo? It's so obvious, I know. I wanted to read this quote for y'all because it's not a spoiler and I thought it was just really nice. I had a theory that we gravitate towards the stories we need in life. Whatever we're longing for, adventure, excitement, emotion, connection, we turn to stories that help us find it. Whatever questions we're struggling with, sometimes questions so deep we don't even really know we're asking them, we look for answers in stories. And I just thought that was really nice. Hey guys, I got to about 48% in the rom-commers last night, so I'm hoping I can finish it today. This one's like good enough so far. I am interested to see where the romance goes because I'm kind of feeling it between the two characters, but at the same time, there hasn't been like a lot of romantic development between them, more so just like friendship, it feels like. Those are my updates this morning about my reading, and I'll check in with you guys later, maybe once I finish the book. Okay, I have finished The Rom-Commers by Catherine Senner, so let's talk about it. I really didn't know what to rate this when I finished it. One thing about Catherine Senner's books is that most of them are closed door romance, so like if there is an intimate scene, you are not getting open access to like what happened behind the door, hence closed door romance. So I did not go into this expecting some like smutty romance. romance. However, it is called The Rom-Commers, and I did go into it expecting some romance and some comedy. And I feel like there were moments throughout the book that were pretty funny. Our main character, Emma, has a nice kind of sense of humor that you get to see with her like inner monologue. But where was the romance? In the beginning, I had faith that the romance was gonna develop. Charlie, the main character, just said some like pretty, honestly rude things to Emma. And I think there's like a really fine line between that kind of like bickering and like banter or teasing. And I feel like for a lot of this book, I just wasn't like vibing with their dynamic. I feel like Emma treated Charlie kind of like a project, or like she was his mom and she was gonna like make him learn how to do things like cook or clean. We should not be having to teach 30, 40-year-old men how to do basic life skills. Emma spent a decade taking care of her father. And so she has this kind of like sheltered approach to life because of being so hyper-focused on caring for her dad. And I'm not criticizing that part of the plot, but that experience for her causes her to be a little bit cynical, a little bit lonely, kind of giving up on herself and her dreams and putting everyone else first. And then the vibe with Charlie, the love interest, is like he's a really famous screenwriter, he's larger than life, he's won all these awards. And I think for Charlie, he's at this like level of success and fame that is also extremely lonely. The dynamic between these two for a lot of the book was like, do we like each other or are we just lonely? And I think that is extremely relatable. I definitely had moments when I was single where I was like, do I actually like this person or am I just lonely? I think I just like couldn't figure that out, and neither could the characters for a really long time. And I think that doesn't necessarily make a great romance. Like, I want to feel the chemistry and the banter, and like even if they can't quite figure out if they like each other, I want to be like, no, y'all are great together. I will say I really liked Emma, our main character. I felt like she was funny and endearing. I would have liked this story more if it was like Emma's story, not Emma and Charlie's story, because Emma had just like a lot of lessons learned and growing that she did throughout this book. This experience for her would have been really interesting to follow if it weren't a love story. So I would love to see some more like women's fiction stories from Katherine Center in the future, because I feel like that's where she kind of shined in this book. So I gave this a 3.5. For me, it just didn't quite like do what I wanted it to do. So I wouldn't put it at like the top of your TBR in terms of new release romances, but if you like Katherine Center and you're interested in this one, it was still good. I think we have time for one more book in this video, so let's take a spin on the wheel and see what we get for our final read. Let's go for it. Alrighty, I think we have a winner. Looks like we're gonna be reading Summer Fridays. I'm gonna go grab this one off my shelf because this one is also on my physical TBR, which is exciting. This is by Suzanne Rendell. I've never read anything by this author, so I'm excited to be introduced to a new author in this video. It has a quote from Annabelle Monaghan on the cover, who is one of my favorite new authors, so I'm hoping that Annabelle will do me right and I'm gonna love Suzanne as well. Right, just as a refresher, this book is set in the summer of 1999 in New York City. Our main character Sawyer is a 20-something trying to make it in New York. She has an assistant job, I think, in publishing, and Sawyer is engaged to her college boyfriend as well, so she's trying to plan their wedding. But it turns out she's having kind of a lonely summer because her boyfriend has been spending really long hours at the office, and apparently her boyfriend's work friend Kendra has been spending really long hours at the office too. So I think we're a little bit suspicious that like Kendra and Sawyer's boyfriend could be doing something nefarious. So Kendra's boyfriend is also feeling kind of lonely and annoyed, and his name is Nick. So I think Nick and Sawyer kind of team up because they're like, well, they're gonna be at the office all day, we should go have fun together. Which honestly kind of gives me like funny story vibes in terms of like both of them are in a relationship with people who they think like each other. If you know, you know. I don't want to over explain it. I'm excited that we're getting to read it in this video. I think this is gonna have like cheating trope, so if that like annoys you, maybe not the one for you, but I think it's kind of interesting. This is like the most plausible cheating trope. I don't know. I'm interested to see like my vibes on that too. It is now Saturday morning and I wanted to give an update on Summer Fridays. I'm currently on page 168 and I'm making good progress. I'm loving this book. To me, it's like low-key giving Emily Henry. The only reason I'm kind of reading this one a little bit slower is I'm honestly kind of trying to savor it. I'm actually about to go to the pool, which is why I have like a greasy sunscreen face and French braided hair. Hopefully I'll get to read some of this while I'm at the pool. My apartment's having like a pool party today with a DJ and stuff, so I don't know how much reading I'm gonna actually get done. I'm just loving it. It's so good. I feel like this is like a hidden gem. It honestly is kind of reminding me of like the 7-Year Slip in terms of the setting. The plot is obviously totally different, but it has that like cozy New York feel, if that makes sense, even though it's summer. Part of me is really wondering like if Sawyer's fiance is really cheating on her or not. Like that's a big question that I think we're gonna have throughout the whole book and not find out an answer till the end. I'm just like interested to see how all that plays out, because that's the only thing that I'm a little bit like nervous about with the plot of this one. I'm absolutely loving it though. It's giving perfect summer vibes, like amazing beach read. I'm hoping to finish this one up by the end of the weekend. In the meantime, I'm gonna get back to reading. Okay, it is Sunday afternoon and I've just finished Summer Fridays. I loved this book. I'm kind of sitting on a rating. I'm between 4.5 and 5 stars. I don't know that this book would be for everyone. I felt pretty surprised by how much I ended up liking this one. I feel like when I started reading it, I immediately kind of thought about Emily Henry's writing and felt like there were some similarities in a good way. The book is set in summer 1999, but the first chapter and the last like 3 chapters are set in New York City in October of 2001, so right after 9/11 happened. So that is something to note because I didn't realize that going into this book. For the majority of the book, we're in summer of 1999, and to me, that summer late 90s setting was just really magical. I felt like I was in an early season of Friends. 2 of our main characters, Sawyer and Nick, kind of form a little bit of a relationship using AOL Instant Messenger. I think that's part of the reason this book is like 400 pages also, if that helps you be less intimidated, because there are several pages where, let me find like an early one. This is like what some of the pages look like because of the AOL messages. There's obviously some themes of cheating in this book. If that's something that you typically hate, then maybe don't read this. I truly think this story was like meant with good intent, brought to life in like a realistic way. And it wasn't like any of our characters in this story were trying to intentionally hurt each other. But I also think with some of those themes in this book, it could make a really great discussion for like a book club book. I felt like the writing and then the timeline with the 2001, 1999 and the AIM messaging was just like excellent. Also, there's not a ton of spice in this book, so if you're someone who prefers more of like a closed door romance, this one does have like a scene or 2. It's very mild. This just felt like really different from some of the other stories I've read. Just was absolutely charmed by it. Those are the 3 books I read this week. If you've read any of these books, definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this reading vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know what types of reading vlogs you want to see next. If you have any bookish video requests, definitely don't hesitate to let me know. And I think that'll be it for today's video. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!